Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Early Bird. The final game of the second round ended last night, and it ended pretty easily. Let's look at it coming up. No doubt who deserves to move on in this series. Carolina did it again to me this year, guys. They did it to me again. I'm telling you, the last few seasons, since the bubble, I've been picking the Hurricanes to go deeper, and they just seem to fizzle out every time. They just seem to fizzle out. And no exception this year. They can make every excuse in the book, but when you're up 2-0 in a series, you should close that series. You should not lose 4 out of 5 after, and they managed to. And they managed not to get a playoff win on the road. A lot of question marks now in Carolina for next year. It's a good team over there, but they're going to have to retool that team and get some, some spark going on, some desperation spark. I didn't see it out of them yesterday at all. So where is my glasses? Give me a sec, guys. We'll take a look at this and talk a little bit about what could have and couldn't have been. And hey, it's the playoffs. Look, it's high emotion for the fans. I tell you, the fans out in the fan bases really grew in Carolina. That's a hockey base out there now. That the NHL was right to put a team there because it didn't seem like it years ago. Let's get into it. Here we go. There you see it. Rangers win going away 6-2. Pretty easy win. It really was a pretty easy win. And we'll look at the numbers in that in a second there. But anyway, let's get into the story. Rangers cruise past Hurricanes in Game 7, advance to East Final. The numbers. Hurricanes outshot them 39-31. They did their usual thing on the faceoffs again, 67-33. But the Rangers are giving absolute proof that the faceoff percentage win is kind of an overblown stat, especially in the playoffs. It really is, because take a look. They just it didn't faze them. I'll show the stat that gives it away is the blocks, of course. But anyway, 2 for 3 in the power play. The Rangers' power play has been deadly. Hurricanes got 1 for 4. Didn't do very well in the power play in the playoffs in general. The hits, the Hurricanes had 23. And the Rangers had 22. Not a very high hitting affair. And this is something that the Hurricanes wanted to get the Rangers into somehow, and they didn't do it. The blocks, 25 for the Rangers, frustrating Carolina to no end with those blocks. The Hurricanes had 8. The Rangers only had 10 giveaways in this game. The Hurricanes had 19. The shots on goal. Carolina in the first, 16-11. In the second period, Carolina outshot them 12-9. Third period, 11 apiece, which was really not good enough if you're a Carolina fan. Just not good enough. Final 39-31 for the game in favor of Carolina. So the Hurricanes are out. The Hurricanes are out, and I'll tell you what, there's just no doubt about it. I mean, Rome's not even talking to me this morning, guys, so you can imagine what Rome's going through. There's absolutely no doubt who deserves to move on in this series. There really isn't. The way the Rangers came back, they took me by surprise, okay? They did. They took me by surprise. So I got, who did I get right in the second round? I called Colorado in 6. They won in 6. I got that one right on. I had the Oilers in 6. They won in 5. And Carolina, what did I have that in again? Oh, no, let's go to Tampa first. Tampa I had in 6. They won 4 straight over poor old Florida. And Carolina I had winning in 6 over the Rangers because I thought they would win on the road and wrap it up at home, which they could have done, but they couldn't get a road win. They could not get a road win in the playoffs. They're not going to go anywhere. Sorry, you're not. And Carolina fans, it might feel like, things could have been different. Yeah, if you would have won on the road. You can't go into the playoffs and get 0 wins on the road and win the Stanley Cup. It's just, if you're going to try that, well, good luck. It's just not going to happen. Now, the Rangers, I want to touch on something because I seen them say it yesterday. They're 5-0 facing elimination, right? Okay, they're 5-0. Now, I'm going to go back to the New York Islanders in 1975. In that playoff run, they went 8 times. with facing elimination and coming back. Now it was 3-0 to. I'm thinking back. It was Game 3 against the Rangers in a 2 out of 3 in the first round. That went to overtime. The Islanders won. They faced an elimination there. Then they were down 3-0 to Pittsburgh in the quarterfinals. They came back and they won 4 straight there. Then in the semifinals, they were up against the defending champion Philadelphia Flyers. They were down 3-0, and the Islanders roared back and made it 3-3. And this is why I believed from that point on this team was headed to a cup, was because of that playoff run. So they went 8-0. They were 8-0 before bowing out in Game 7. I believe it was 4-1 to the Flyers in Game 7, and that is up for grabs if the Rangers can do this a few times in this series and move on. They could be staring that record right in the eye. Actually, I'm sure that hasn't been touched since. There was a team that did, I think, 7 one time. I think I'd have to look back. I just recall somebody came close some years ago in our era, in our modern era, of touching that. Now, if the Rangers can, not that the Rangers fans want this record because they're going to be on the edge of their seats, but let's say the Rangers are down 3-2 and come back and win this series 4-3, let's say. Then that record goes up to 7, and then they're 1 win away from tying it. Just something to think about. So the Rangers move on. Absolutely no doubt in my mind they deserve to be in the semifinals now because they were the team that was the aggressor. They were the team that looked less intimidated. They were the team that had the goaltending. And I think Gerard Gallant is a fabulous coach. I mean, I don't get why the Sabres did not make a pitch at him years ago, and went for Phil Housley instead. I still don't understand. I never did, even back then. And I used to get into it with Sabres fans because they were all telling me Phil Housley. I wanted Gerard Gallant back then, because I knew firsthand of him here in Montreal. I seen the way this guy was with the players. He has no mercy. He doesn't care. Look at him. He looks like an escaped convict, right? This guy doesn't look like he takes any crap from any player. He doesn't care who it is. And I think that weared him out of a few jobs. I think that took him out of his job in Vegas. And did you notice the last 2 times he got fired, the owners didn't have the guts to call him and let him know, or face to face. They had to tell him on the phone or send him a text message or whatever it was. They did this. That's the way they let go of him in Florida, and the same way they did it to him in Vegas. So he's a hard-nosed guy, and I remember here in Montreal, I had no clue why they had Michel Therrien as the coach and not Gerard Gallant, but the French thing out here, and Gallant doesn't speak French, and as much as it sounds like he does when you hear his name, he doesn't. And he is one heck of a coach. He's one heck of a motivator, and I'm sure he's got the respect of that dressing room. I really do. I am absolutely sure that this guy has that dressing room really under his control, and that this team, all the pistols are firing now in New York. All right, this team, it didn't shock me yesterday. It did not shock me, guys. I said it in my previous videos. I kind of had a feeling the Rangers are going to go in there and win this game, really, because I was thinking of Gallant too. Not that Brendamore's a bad coach, no, but he seems more of like friends with his team than Gallant is. Gallant just seems more of that disciplinarian type guy. And this is going to be a very, very hard team to stop now as the playoffs move along. And as we know, guys, as the playoffs move along, there's no way to know except game to game what's going on. I mean, a lot of folks did not pick the Rangers and the Oilers to go this far. A lot of folks would have picked other teams. I mean, I myself thought from the beginning the Oilers could win the cup if they ever got the goaltending. That was the knack with me. And the Rangers, I haven't doubted in the playoffs. No, I haven't. I picked them in the first round, but in this round, I just thought that Carolina would wear them down, as they've done to them in the past. But this time around, the Rangers were very much up to the challenge of coming back and getting into the series, because they did put themselves in a hole. Let's not forget that. So that says a lot about the character of that dressing room. That dressing room was in a hole They were down 2-0, they were down 3-2, and they still found a way. They still found a way. Okay, that's it. That's my rant about the Rangers and their win yesterday, and what I think, where I think those teams are headed. I mean, obviously, Carolina's going to have to make some changes to get more of a killer instinct. It's obvious now. So, all right, folks, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys.